Well, heidi-ho, good neighbors. I'm Brent Smith, I'm the Common Constitutionalist, and once again, welcome to another edition of the Weekend Common Constitutionalist video podcast. Today, one topic again, von Mises knew who the Dems actually were and are, I suppose. So that's what I'll be discussing right after this. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Woo doggies, back in the USSR. Sometimes it feels, it'll increasingly feel that way going forward. Just saying. All right. So according to the von Mises Institute, Ludwig, Heinrich, Edler von Mises, born 1881, died 1973, was, quote, one of the most notable economists and social philosophers of the 20th century, unquote. Despite being from the von Mises Society or Institute, that's correct, absolutely correct. And perhaps his most famous quote is this, and thank you, Fred, for reminding me of this. It's been a long time since I've read or heard this, and we need to be reminded of this monthly, if not more. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. Let's do this. Quote, the champions of socialism call themselves progressive, but they recommend a system which is characterized by rigid observance of routine and by resistance to every kind of improvement. They call themselves liberals, but they are intent on abolishing liberty. They call themselves Democrats, but they yearn for dictatorship, unquote. The quote's not finished, but I need to interject something real quick. I remember Thomas Loopy Friedman. The Loopy, it's Thomas L. Friedman, and hat tip for Rush Limbaugh, and brother, we certainly miss you already. He's of the New York Times. This is one of those guys, kind of like Joe Biden, that's never been right about anything in his entire life, it seems like. So Thomas Friedman's record is really, really good. But I remember him either writing or saying a comment. He writes for the New York Times, saying once that he was actually jealous of the communist Chinese leadership because, unlike America, they could get things done. Because they had a dictatorship. Awesome. Back to the quote. Back to you, Jane. Okay, quote, they call themselves revolutionaries, but they want to make the government omnipotent. Boy, howdy, ain't that the truth. They promise the blessings of the Garden of Eden, but they promise to transfer the world into a giant post office. Remember, he lived till 1973, so he's kind of like plugged into the modern-ish day, so to speak. Every man but one a subordinate clerk in a bureau, unquote. That's pretty powerful, and he's 100% correct in everything he said. No matter the year, no matter the decade, what generation, it doesn't make any difference. The goal, as we see, is always the same: dominion over us. It's that simple. Now, it's hard to put you can't really judge somebody's motivation because you don't know what's in somebody's head, and you don't know what's in somebody's heart. You don't know if the motivation is altruistic or evil. Could be. But I think at least some of these people actually think that they're doing the right thing by demanding of us, others, to do what they tell us to do. I think that some of these authoritarians, leftists, actually do think they're trying to help. That we're too dumb to get out of our own ways, and that we need to be guided to utopia or nirvana or whatever. It's unattainable, obviously, except in heaven, if you believe that sort of thing. A lot of these know-it-all good do-gooders, I guess, in their own minds, are academics. They've mastered the, many, like a book theory, so to speak, but they have zero clue or experience about life in the real world, because they've never been out in the real world. They go from high school to college and into either teaching or academics of some sort, or the government. So they don't really know anything of the real world. And to them, everything is a static laboratory experiment, and that's not the way real life is. But I think that some of these things, these people actually do have their heart in the right place. They just don't have a clue what they're doing. And others, I think, are the opposite. They're just plain old evil. And they believe that they are the only ones, that they were gifted. They were graced with the gift of being in charge, of ruling over the rest of us, like monarchs. But it really doesn't matter, because the results are always the same. Totalitarian oppression. That's what it ends up, whether your heart's in the right place or you're just plain evil, it doesn't make any difference. That's the end result, which ain't good for the rest of us. Okay, so you want a real world example, do you? Yes, I do. Okay, thank you. Give a man a hand. All right. Okay, how about just from a few days ago? Lunchbox Joe's national lecture, address. Okay. This is from the Conservative Review / The Federalist. The title is Biden, Obey Dr. Fauci, or you'll be locked down, well, forever, past 4th of July. They write, President Joe Biden threatened Americans to obey Dr. Fauci's pandemic edicts Thursday in a primetime address. No, it was a lecture. On the 1-year anniversary of the first coronavirus lockdowns. Yay, let's get a cake. You can't fly the flag because, just saying. Quote, we need everyone to get vaccinated, Lunchbox Joe said. We need everyone to keep washing their hands. Thank you, Joe, because I haven't washed my hands once in my entire life until you told me I had to start. So, bless you, brother. Or shower, or, jeez. We need everybody to keep wearing that mask, Biden said from the White House after telling the American people if they follow Dr. Fauci's orders, yep, they might get to spend the 4th of July holiday with their friends and neighbors, but Biden maintained that doesn't mean large events, quote unquote. Unbelievable. The Daily Caller tweeted a direct quote from Everyman Joe's diatribe. Biden, if we do our part by 4th of July, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood to have a cookout or a barbecue and celebrate independence. Isn't that ironic? Celebrate Independence Day. Whoever wrote this shouldn't have put that in. Small groups will be able to get together, unquote. What do you even... welcome to America. I love it. New Hampshire. Live free or die. That's our two options. That's our only two options. Oh crap, we're in trouble. All right. I do, however, want to add a caveat to this, and I have to admit, and I think this bears, not that it makes a difference necessarily, and I'm not letting the guy off the hook. Lunchbox Joe is a career criminal and should have been locked up probably decades ago for all his malfeasance, government malfeasance, using the government to his own and his own family's ends. Putting that aside. But we have to separate this stuff that we're hearing from Lunchbox, okay? So, because I'm convinced, and everyone should be convinced probably, at this point in time, seeing him try to speak extemporaneously, it just doesn't work. And it's not like it's his fault or anything. It's a result of age. It's dementia or onset Alzheimer's. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. And I feel in that respect, you gotta, as a human being, you have to feel bad for the guy. You just do. He just doesn't have a clue what he's saying. He's I think they call them in Britain, you know, they call the newscasters and whatnot, the anchors of the news and whatnot, they call them presenters or news readers. That's what they call them in Britain. That's basically what Lunchbox has become. It's just a news reader or presenter of whatever's on the teleprompter. These, I'm sure, are not his policies. Might they be if he was a sane man? Could be. Evil corrupts absolutely. You know, just saying, or power corrupts absolutely. Evil corrupts. I guess it does, doesn't it? That's really like rhetorical, isn't it? Okay, so power corrupts absolutely. So maybe he'd be the same jackwad that he appears to be, but he's just reading whoever's writing this or whatever his handlers are telling him to sign and telling him to read and telling him to write. That's all it is. I mean, he's just doing what he's told. Those are the despicably evil people, the ones behind the scenes that are actually running this ship. And people who think it's Kamala Harris, yes, I know I'm pronouncing her name wrong on purpose because she's a jerk too. She's worse than Biden. Oh my heavens to Betsy. And we'll probably find out sooner than later, I hate to say. But it's these gang of evil bastards, okay? What was it? Johnny Dangerously, the old movie? Bastages? You bastages. Evil bastages who are actually running the things behind the scenes. And I count those evil bastages, Dr. Jill as one of those evil bastages. And I was thinking about this before I came out here, and I'm wondering if Dr. Jill and Dr. Fauci went to the same evil medical school. Okay, a little Austin Powers reference there. I didn't spend 6 years in evil medical school to be called Mr. Okay, so anyway. I want to close with another gem from Biden. Not from Biden, from the presenter, Biden. Listen to Dr. Fauci, he says, or else. Basically, if we don't stay vigilant and the conditions change, then we have to reinstate restrictions. Oh, jeez. We will issue guidance on what you listen to this, okay? If you think I'm full of crap and you don't think this is an authoritarian dictatorship want to be, listen to this. We will issue guidance on what you can and cannot do when fully vaccinated. Again, what's the point in the frickin' vaccines if we still have to social distance, we can't get together, and we have to wear masks for the rest of our natural lives? It's such a load of crap, and it's the panic porn over this thing, and I still see so many people in the middle of nowhere out walking their dogs, and it's 30 degrees outside, and they're wearing a mask, and there's not a soul within 100 yards of these people, and you just want to shake them and say, wake the frick up. Wake the frick up. When did you cease to become an American? Was it about a year ago? Maybe? I don't know. Did it take a month or two to sink in? This is the new normal? Not for me, brother. Not for me. This is the hill I hopefully figuratively die on, because I ain't compliant. Sorry, Lunchbox. I'm not going to comply with your nonsense. Okay? I'm going to do what I want when I want. I will avoid the people that I know to be at risk. Okay? My parents just got vaccinated. Bless your hearts. Bless my sister. Thank God for my sisters and brother for taking good care of my parents. That's beside the point, but they got their vaccine, so hooray for them. I guess that's about all I have. It's just that this stuff, it might as well be from Leader Xi, or whatever, Xi Jinping, from China. He could have said the same thing, and it would have had the same effect, basically, as this. Do what we say, or else. That's all I got. My name is Brent Smith. I'm the Competent Constitutionalist. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Woohoo! I'm getting good at this. That's all I got. Bye.